let's compare Jimmy Garoppolo to Deebo Samuel.
Oh,
Go ahead.
this was actually the topic, one that I came up with when we were talking, and it's something. It's not newsworthy, correct, particularly right now. It's over, but I've been thinking about this, and the older I've gotten, the more I concentrate on how people behave. So I'd like to make Iggy and I were English majors, and you have to go through compare and contrast a lot of stuff. So I'm going to compare and contrast Deebo Samuel and Jimmy Garoppolo vis-a-vis what they did about their contracts and their jobs on the team. Deebo Samuel, who's perhaps, well, on offense is the most valuable player, and he might be the most valuable player on the team, who certainly knew that the team wanted him. And he had and has a glorious future on the team because he's so great. Mm-hmm. Acted like a juvenile when it came time to present himself about his contract.
Yeah.
He actually demanded a trade. Yeah. Didn't he block the 49ers on Twitter or Instagram?
He took down the pictures of himself in 49ers gear. And this was all early in the process, early. In the offseason. Yeah.
And in other words, he threw a fit. Like juvenile, it's like when you're 5 or 6 years old, you can't have your cookie because you didn't whatever, and you throw a fit.
He pulled a Veruca Salt. I went on KTVU and they asked me what's going on with Deebo. This was probably in April, and I said he wants his Oompa Loompa now.
He wants his Oompa Loompa.
He didn't want to wait. He knew he was going to get paid, but he didn't want to wait.
No, and so he acted badly.
Yeah.
Now, I want to be very clear. I am not saying he's a bad person. I've never met him.
No.
I'm just talking about one episode and comparing it to one episode with Jimmy. I think Deebo Samuel, who's a great player, and the 49ers desperately need him, and I love to watch him play, I think he acted very badly. I think he made himself look bad, and he made the team look bad. Mm-hmm. And he didn't have that much at stake. He knew that he was going to get pretty much what he wanted.
He didn't gain anything from it either. It was all unnecessary.
It was unnecessary, unnecessary muddying of the water.
Yes, and I don't know that the relationship's ever the same. You can't undo this. It happened.
That's right. You did it.
Yeah, he did.
Now you have Jimmy Garoppolo, who had a lot more at stake. Here he's being cast aside by a team that he had taken twice to the championship game and once to the Super Bowl. So he has accomplishments in Santa Clara. His tenure at the team was at stake, and his tenure in the league was at stake because he wasn't getting offers. We don't need to get into that, why or why not, or how good he is and all that. Just from his point of view, things were grim. And had it been me, I'd be vomiting. I would.
It's the crossroads of his career.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he never complained.
No.
You never heard anything from him and his agent about, I don't want to be a 49er. They're treating me bad. Nothing. He acted, I'm going to use certain words. He acted professionally. It's business. And he acted like a gentleman. Mm-hmm. He didn't try to divide the locker room. And then a few days ago, people asked him, why didn't you demand to be released?
Mm-hmm. And which a lot of people thought he should do and would have been okay if he had done it.
Exactly. And he said, and Iggy, you were there, I didn't want to leave on those terms.
Right.
In other words, he's had a wonderful experience here.
Yeah.
He's shown grace and dignity, and he didn't want to louse it up because, at least in this one instance, he acted like a gentleman with honor and dignity. And I don't feel in this instance, Deebo matched him. And what my hope is not to shit on Deebo. Deebo learns from this modeling that Jimmy provided. Yes.
You know what Jimmy acted like? A hero.
Oh, yes. I love it. Yes, he did.
He acted like a hero. And what he was saying, I didn't want to go out like that. Yeah, it's with the organization, but it's also the fans. Like, we're not fans, but fans look at players as heroes. Those are their heroes.
Yes.
Right. And Jimmy's a good hero. He smiles. He says the right things. You don't have to worry about him being a bad role model, and you can look up to him. Your kids can look up to him. Deebo sort of was like, I don't want to be your hero. I don't want to be on the 49ers. And it's hard for the fans to look at him the same way anymore. And that stuff matters, I think. I'm not a fan, though.
But you know what I want to say? I love the idea that you brought up the word hero, because heroism matters.
Yes.
It's important to have heroes.
It's a gladiator sport.
It's a gladiator sport. And, one of the reasons that the Iliad, I mean, it's a great poem, but it has Achilles.
Yeah.
He's one of the greatest heroes.
Yes.
And among the reasons the Hebrew Bible is, again, it's maybe the greatest book ever written, there's Moses.
Right.
What a hero.
Right. But for a 12-year-old in 2022, most likely his hero is going to be Nick Bosa. You know what I mean? George Kittle. Yes. And all you got to do is give him a reason. Deebo made it very difficult. Maybe some people still look at him as their hero, but it's like, do you want to be on this team? Like, what was that? That's tough.
I want to add that in the New Testament, Jesus Christ is also a hero.
He's a hero.
A hero. Yes. He suffers for mankind.
Yes.
He's a hero.
Doesn't complain.
And I kind of come from a background of literature, and I love that. And I do agree. And Jimmy's heroism was not about being a football player. It was about being a man.
Yeah.
Okay, I can get in trouble. Can't women be heroes?
Being an adult. Being an adult.
Yes. Thank you so much. It was about being an adult and modeling to both men and women how to be an adult hero. Thanks, Iggy. Thanks for getting
modeling
me out of
to everyone. Okay. Yeah. So I think that's a good comparison. We're not trying to say that Deebo has a character flaw. Remember, Jimmy is a lot older than Deebo, 5 years older than Deebo. So maybe Deebo will be like that in 5 years. I don't know. But if he thought about it, look, here's the thing. So Deebo had a very bad start to the offseason, but then he came to minicamp. He pretty much, and I think he talked to Trent Williams, who's about my age, and Trent Williams was like, look, dude, you're a great player, and you're smart and professional, but that's not the narrative out there right now. You're creating a narrative that you're unprofessional. So why don't you switch that up right now? Why don't you come to minicamp? And he did. So I think he's figuring it out. But yeah, it was a bad start the offseason.
God love him. I mean, all I'm saying is he needs to learn a little, and we all do. And so good for him. I want to say one other thing about Jimmy. He came from New England.
True.
And there must be some code of conduct there that's amazing.
Good point. If Deebo requested a trade out of New England, they'd probably trade you. Yeah. They might just trade you. They don't play that. They don't want to smooth. It's like, you see Belichick, I'm going to smooth things over with Deebo. We're friends. Like, no, we don't do that here.
No.
We don't do that here. The show is sponsored by 49ersQCmerch.com. If you want this hat or ones like it, you can go to 49ersQCmerch.com, 10% off CPH1 promo code. Just wanted to throw that out there in case you didn't know.